Hello chess friends and welcome to your side of chess channel and welcome to a new study of the best opening against e4. Today we see the powerful Stockfish engine again playing with the black pieces against the RubiChess engine, the so-called Lasker-Pelikan Sicilian, also called the Sveshnikov Sicilian. We have covered now many great games played by Stockfish in this beautiful opening, so of course we'll add also this game into our playlist. Pay good attention. I think you can have really great preparation against e4 among many games that we have covered so far. This is also a very spectacular, brutal, sharp tactical game played by Stockfish here. So let's see now what happened with the white pieces. The RubiChess engine opened with the move e4. Stockfish response was c5, the Sicilian, knight to f3, knight to c6. And I would also mention, if you're really interested into this Lasker-Pelikan Sicilian, please check out our playlist. Here's the link of our analysis. You can have, as I said, really an amazing preparation against e4. Now we have d4, the open Sicilian. C takes d, knight takes d4, knight to f6, hitting the pawn on e4. White plays knight to c3, and now again we have the Lasker-Pelikan move, the Sveshnikov move e5, hitting simply the knight. Knight goes to b5, and now we play a very important move d6. As I mentioned before, as I'll mention of course today also, we have now always a little bit the problems with this square d5. This is now the main weakness in our position, but we have also the problems of the backward pawn on d6. But we'll solve these problems with a beautiful maneuver, if possible, with the move a6. For instance, if white continues with bishop to g5, then the best way is simply to proceed with a6. Then after knight retreats to a3, we simply play b5, and I think this is pretty solid here. We have a great grip still around the square d5. If you get challenged, then of course we recapture with pawn. So we have explained this sideline also in our Sveshnikov Sicilian playlist, but today with a different approach, again with this early knight to d5 hop by white, which is now a very aggressive approach by white, and it forces you basically to go into a sideline. You're having basically only one good move here, and it's actually knight to d5. Every other move for black is, in my opinion, not so good. So that's why this move has to be played. Knight takes d5, e takes d5, and now knight to b8, retreating simply with the knight. We have now the move c4, bishop to e7. As I also mentioned before in our playlist, the main goal, the main strategic advantage, that the main progressive ideas that we have now with the black pieces are some possibilities here on the king side. We have to play now f5, even g5 if possible. Maybe we can launch really a beautiful flank attack on this side of the board, because we have a 4 versus 3 pawn majority here. That's now the main goal that you're having. No other plans you have, only this side you have to attack, and you have to be careful of what's going on now on this side of the board, because white will eventually try to break you with progressive ideas like c5. So you have to also be really in good defensive shape around the square c5. You have to do something afterwards in your defensive play. So here we have bishop to e2, kingside castling also by RubiChess. We have knight to d7 by Stockfish, a3, and now f5. As I said, simply putting more pressure on this side of the board. We have f3 by RubiChess, knight to f6, sort of a theoretical novelty, a move that has not been played so far, but in chess history a6 has been played, b6 also, then followed with knight to f6. So I would not even call this as a spectacular novelty, but Stockfish played here a little bit different move order. We have bishop to e3 by RubiChess. We have a6, kicking away now the knight drops back to c3, and now Stockfish continues with the main plan here, as I said, simply attacking the king side. Knight to h5 with ideas maybe to get the knight on f4, or maybe to get it on g3 if the position allows it, and also with bishop to f6 to occupy this diagonal of with the dark with bishop. So now comes knight to a4. RubiChess is of course attacking the queen side. Notice when we play now the move a6, we have provoked ourselves here many structural weaknesses. We have now many dark square problems in the position, but Stockfish continues still with bishop to h4. Let's see now options for white. If white continues here with the move knight to b6, seems tempting, seems also good, maybe this kind of move. I think you could face this move, but actually if black get challenged in this way, this would be a huge mistake here by white. Now we can simply play f4. We can simply kick away the bishop. For instance, of course, if bishop to f2 happens, then we simply take bishop takes f2, rook or king to f2, and then we pick up the piece. So white could maybe try this one, bishop to d4. Now we take, Of course, we lose the rook, but now we play a beautiful knight to g3. That's the progressive idea here by black. It's almost similar, if you're familiar maybe with the King's Indian Defense. Many tactical and really aggressive motifs are similar here in the Lasker-Pelikan Sicilian, like in the King's Indian. Maybe if you're King's Indian defense player, you know what I'm talking about. Many times you will simply get destroyed with this kind of stuff, or sometimes in some lines we can even sacrifice the bishop around the square e3, like in the King's Indian when white is playing maybe the move h3, then we sack it, open the position in front of white king, and then simply get the queen into the game. So many aggressive ideas here are possible. So you cannot of course take, because the bishop is coming in, and with queen to h4, queen to h2, probably white gets even checkmated. What you could try here maybe is to create yourself a breathing space for the king, but now we simply play knight to look at this, knight to f5. We still control the d4 square, then we get the knight here, again the queen on g5. You are maybe up the exchange, but this knight is simply out of game. This bishop will come into the game, as I said, queen to g5, bishop to h3, knight to e3. So many good moves are coming to my mind, so devastating position here for sure for white. So after bishop to h4 here, RubiChess tried queen to c2, but now comes a move that you simply have to know. This move you have to really know by heart. This is a must move now for black. Here Stockfish plays the amazing b6. Really tricky idea. This move is really brilliant, because if you play now knight takes b6, again we play on the same plan that we have seen before. f4 kicking with the bishop, you can of course grab the rook, but now we pick up here the bishop, and again you have so many dark square problems in front of the king. You can maybe even try g3, sorry, you can try of course the move g3, but now we play knight takes g3, h takes g3, bishop to g3. Now the queen is coming into the game. The game is simply devastating here for white. I think in the next couple of moves you're getting destroyed for sure. Okay, let's go back. So even if you here, instead of this move knight takes b6, play bishop to b6 to grab the pawn, then again the bishop gets deflected here from the square g5, and now we have again great attacking chances on the g file. You could maybe try g3, but obviously it would simply get it. Even if you try something like bishop to f2, we can simply play knight to f4, simply putting more pressure. Look at this, you try g3, but now ideas I don't know, knight to h5, knight to h3 are working. So again, simply too much pressure here against white's king. So that's why after move b6 here, the RubiChess engine tried to move b4. We have now rook to b8, finally protecting the b6 weakness, and RubiChess of course breaks and enters here with the move c5. That's now the only chance that white is here in the continuation of the game. But Stockfish continues with an amazing f4, attacking the bishop to f2, and now we have a beautiful, stunning bishop to g3. As I said, again, King's Indian defense motifs. Again, we're occupying now this amazing square. If you obviously take, then we can simply take with the pawn. The queen is coming again on dark squares into the game. It's simply not working. So this move is really aggressive here. RubiChess tried bishop to d3. Hitting now the pawn on h7, but Stockfish continues now with b takes c5, doesn't care for this pawn. Even if you try something like bishop to h7 in the first place, then we simply step back, and now after something like b takes c5, again the queen could come into the game. Again, this King's Indian motif that we have talked about in the beginning, we simply sack everything just in order to let the position explode in front of white's king. G takes h3, queen to h3. You can maybe try to somehow compete now on the second rank, but now we play beautiful g6. Look at this, you're trying to trade off the queens. We're not allowing that. You take maybe, but now rook to g8 opens up the g file, and this is a messed up game again here for white. There's simply too much pressure here. Rook can be sometimes also included into the game, but now the position is collapsing here on the g file. As I said, really game over for white. So after b takes c5, that's why RubiChess tried b takes c5, queen to h4 here by Stockfish, attacking now the pawn on h2. We have h3, and now comes another stunner here by Stockfish. Stockfish plays the amazing rook to b3. Really wild stuff. Tries of course to deflect here the queen from the defense of the second rank, and now again some tactics like bishop to h3 are working. G takes h3, and again the position is really devastating in front of white's king. So that's why for rook to b3 here, bishop takes h7 has been played by RubiChess, but Stockfish simply retreats, takes out now finally the rook, but Stockfish plays now king takes h7. So at least Stockfish has now again gained the piece, still has this progressive opportunities with bishop to h3, or also in some lines can play the amazing e4. We have here queen to d3, Stockfish plays bishop to f5, queen to c4, rook to f6. Now even the rook is coming into the game. Look at this, with Stockfish is attacking now White's king with 5 pieces. There's only this lonely bishop that I think that's protecting the king. Very messed up position here for White. We have rook to a2, Stockfish plays now an amazing e4, very wild stuff. Let's see again options. For instance, if you try bishop to g3, then knight to g3, you can maybe pick up the pawn. Then, for instance, e3 is going to happen. The pawn is rolling. This pawn cannot be moved because, of course, the bishop is covering. You're trying maybe rook to e1. Now, knight to e4, for instance, is working. Or you're trying maybe rook to c1. Then rook to g6 is working. So again, the g file attack would cause, I think, many tactical problems in White's position. So that's why after move e4 here, f takes e4 was played by Ruby. But now again, bishop takes h3. Look at this, the position is really collapsing here for White. After bishop to h3, bishop takes g3 was played, knight takes g3. If you play here g takes h3, then this one is working, f3. Then of course we open again the g file, f2 could happen. So in my opinion, knight to e2 in some lines is working. So again, very a messed up game here for White. So that's why here after move knight to g3, we have e5 by RubiChess, d takes e5. We have now finally g takes h3, but of course e4. We have now 2 connected passers that are rolling and that are very dangerous in front of Black's king. Knight to b6 was played by Ruby. Stockfish continues with f3, knight to d7, hitting the rook, but obviously rook to f5 again solves all of the positional problems. The knight cannot be included into the attack. Nothing spectacular game here for Ruby. We have rook to h2, Stockfish delivers a check, king to h1, and after knight to g3, here again we have the fork, and in this particular position RubiChess resigned. So after move knight to e2, what you could try is maybe rook takes e2, but now we simply play queen to g3. You have to step back. Now we pick up the piece. If you take the rook, then would promote. If you try something like, I don't know, queen to e2, then would deliver a check. If you go here, then we pick up the rook. If you go to g1, then of course rook to g5 is simply winning the game. So after knight to e2, there's simply no good move. You can try king to h1, but now knight to g3, king to g1. For instance, queen to f4 is working. If you try to compete here on the f file, then again this rook is coming into the game. You don't have a good score for the king. If you go to h2, you're getting in front of the queen. So very messed up game here for Black. And as I said, RubiChess simply resigned. Simply too aggressive attack here by the fish. As I said, study also the king's Indian defense. Similar motifs are happening here. So very spectacular game here by Stockfish. So okay, if you are, as I said, interested into this beautiful chess opening, check out our Lasker-Pelikan Sicilian studies so far. Here's the link of our playlist, and if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon with some more videos, and what do we say at the end? Chess is the best, of course.